guys, welcome to another Cosplay in the Kitchen, where I review cosplays while I'm stood in my kitchen. Today I wanted to talk about the Ghoul mask from Trick or Treat Studios. I haven't actually seen a review of it online anywhere, sort of not a video review anyway yet, and I thought it would be a good chance to talk about it. So for those of you who don't know, Trick or Treat Studios are one of the sort of premier deluxe mask makers in the world. If you're looking for mass-produced but high-quality masks, they're sort of at the top of the top. You can get better masks custom-made by other people. But if you're looking for sort of the mass-produced ones, they're great. They tend to be a little bit more expensive than your average Halloween mask, but you get really high quality. And they have done a Fallout range. As soon as this Fallout range was announced, my first thought was, fantastic, I really hope they do a Ghoul mask. And it was a bit delayed. They didn't announce a Ghoul right away. At first they were just doing Vault Boy and Vault Girl plastic masks. But finally they announced it, it's finally out, here it is, and I'm going to talk about it a little bit. So, this here is the Ghoul. And he's looking very cool. Just as a quick heads up, as I turn it around, you will see this is held together with a bit of Velcro that I added. I'll talk about that in a little bit more detail in a moment. But the first thing I want to say about this is a little shout out how they package these now. I've never seen them do this for the Trick or Treat Studios mask before. But when it arrived, it came with this lovely plastic shell to help it keep its shape. It seems to be custom made to the Ghoul, so he's got no mask, no nose. But that's a really nice detail because this is quite thin latex and really helps it arrive packaged nicely. So good on you, Trick or Treat Studios, I like that. So the first thing I will say is it is thin latex, thinner, I would say, than the average mask. So I own a lot of Michael Myers masks and things from them. It's a little bit thinner. I think that is reflected in the price. It is about 2/3 of the price of an average Trick or Treat Studios mask. Usually in the UK you're looking at paying about 65 quid. This one was 44, so that's a really good price. It's a little bit thinner, but it also does make it a bit more comfortable. The other thing with it is massive. So I've got a really big head, and I've had trouble with some Trick or Treat Studios masks being very tight on me. This one's huge even on me. However, what you've got to remember is that has to be the case really, because of course the Ghoul has no nose. So you need the extra length at the front to make the nose look like it's missing, because, interesting biological fact for you here, most human beings do in fact have noses. As you may know in the show, they CGI out his nose. Obviously this is a mask, you can't do that, so yeah, it does need to be a little bit bigger. Now the first thing I really want to talk about with this that I really like and I was really impressed with is the sculpt. Now, obviously, Fallout the TV show's been out for a little while. The Ghoul is by far the coolest character in it, in my opinion. I don't think that's a hot take. I think most people love him. He gets cosplayed a lot, including by me before this. I did it with a really embarrassing attempt at a mask where I took a Freddy Krueger mask and I cut the nose off and tried to paint it up. I'll put a photo up, but it was terrible, okay? It was awful. A lot of people have done much better with either very expensive silicone masks or prosthetics. The guys who do it with prosthetics are incredible, by the way, because they have full facial expressions and everything. However, what I will say is I've never seen a cosplay yet where the person cosplaying the Ghoul looks like Walton Goggins as the Ghoul. They look like a Ghoul. They've got no nose, it looks fantastic, they've got fantastic, disgusting skin, but they've never quite captured that look of Walton Goggins, and I think this mask really does. This doesn't just look like a Ghoul, it looks like the Ghoul. And I think that's absolutely fantastic. The detail on it is incredible. It just looks so good, and it looks so much like him. I believe that when they published it, they said they took it from some of the facial latex sculpt, some of the details, and I can certainly believe that. I do think he looks a little bit fuller in the cheeks than Walton Goggins does in the show. Again, that's naturally because you have to be able to fit everybody's face in this. So you have to be able to wear it, and everyone has to be able to wear it. It's not just straight on the skin. But I really think it looks like him, which I really like. There's a couple of details that I wanted to highlight. Things that just on a mass-produced mask are there and not as perfect. I find the ears are kind of sculpted into the body, and that's fine. That's exactly what you would expect on a mask. Obviously, in the show, they are his real ears, so they look a little bit more detailed and realistic than this. You also got the ear holes. I'm not ever crazy about them putting ear holes in masks, frankly. You're so sensory deprived when you're in it anyway. I don't think it matters. But I suppose if you like to hear the ear holes are there, they're not massively distracting. One thing about it that I think is okay, but not perfect, is the paint job. I'm not sure how well you can see it in this light. I think he's just a tiny bit too orange. It's not a bad paint job at all. The skin looks like skin, but I do think he's a little bit, his skin texture is a little bit browner and a little bit less orange in the show. Some of that could be dirt, to be fair. If you've seen the show, you may remember he starts off buried alive, and he's not exactly the type of guy to ever have a wash. So I think he is always a bit dirty, but it's slightly orange. But again, you're looking at a mass-produced mask. So when you look at one of these for these prices, you aren't going to get a custom hand-painted job. It is always going to be one fully painted detailing, and it's pretty good for that. You know, it's not something I would complain about. I did mention I stuck some Velcro on the back of this. Now that's another element that comes from the sheer size of the mask, is as you can probably see here, the neck hangs loosely. And again, it certainly can fit everyone. It's logical, but it does make him look a little bit chubby, a little bit less like, again, Walton Goggins as the Ghoul, because you've got this giant neck. Now you can tuck it into your shirt when you're wearing it and pull it in a little bit, but I prefer to put Velcro on the back, because then when I do up the Velcro, it just gives him much more of the look of the Ghoul, because the neck's pulled in, and it just makes the mask look better. Now admittedly that causes this little kink at the back, so what I'm probably going to do is pad the back of that a little bit, so that it kind of hides that a bit like that, but yeah, it looks great. Another thing to be aware of with this mask is the eyes. So the eye holes are very, very small. Now this isn't a criticism, this is what you want, because when you wear it, you want your eyes to look like real eyes. This isn't a case of a Michael Myers mask, where it's supposed to look like a mask and the eyes aren't supposed to look real. This is meant to look like your eyes, and because of how they're recessed, I don't know if you can see that, it works really well. They kind of recess into your eye sockets, and it makes your eyes look like his eyes. However, it does mean you have to get the mask on precisely, or it's incredibly uncomfortable, because what you get is these little flaps of latex where it's going in, jabbing in your eyes and in your top of your eyelids, make your eyes water. It's very uncomfortable to wear, so you tend to have to adjust it a lot. I find when I'm putting it on, I'm kind of fiddling with it and adjusting it to get it so it's sat just right. And then on top of that, and this might just be a me thing, because the mask is quite big, if you have a cowboy hat, which obviously you want if you're doing the Ghoul, here's mine, you put it on the Ghoul, but because this is such a large mask, I've already got a big head, it's quite tight, the hat, when it goes on, and I end up pulling the hat down and it knocks the mask down and I have to readjust the eyes all over again, which is fantastic. But you know, that's just going to be what you get with this. So essentially, for the price, this is fantastic. I would even say not for the price. If you're looking for a Ghoul mask that looks like Walton Goggins, this is, in my opinion, the best one on the market at the moment, even including the premium and the handmade ones. I haven't seen one yet that to me captures the look of the actor as the Ghoul as well as this one. It is, like I said, it's about £44 in the UK. In America, I think it's about $45, even though that makes it significantly cheaper than in the UK, because conversion rates, for some reason, when they release stuff over here, they just change the dollar sign to a pound, even though that makes it more expensive for us. I assume it's import. I bought this from Mad About Horror, if you're in the UK. Excellent site for all sorts of Trick or Treat Studios imports. I believe they're currently sold out. I have them up for pre-order. I'll put the link in the description in case you do want to pre-order yourself one. And what I will do just to close out is show you with me wearing it. I will probably do a little cut here because you don't want to watch me fiddle with it and try and get the eyes right. So fingers crossed. And that's the Ghoul mask. One final point, as you may have noticed by that lovely awkward silence while I was wearing it, you can't really talk in it. There is a mouth gap, but you're going to be muffled. Unless you put some padding or straps under your chin, or you've got a really big chin, this isn't going to move when you talk. and even if it did, you wouldn't get much movement out of it. So it's not going to be a mask that you can move, you can talk in, which is a shame. You can't drop any of his cool one-liners. But, you know, when it looks this good, I think that's a sacrifice worth making. So, yeah, that is the Ghoul mask from Trick or Treat Studios. Comes highly recommended from me. I'm really, really impressed with it. It's everything I really wanted from them. So I'm really happy. If you love the Ghoul and you want to cosplay him, or you just want a cool Ghoul mask in your collection, check it out. Until next time, thank you guys.